The story you're about to hear is a chilling tale of power, injustice, and a mother's unwavering fight for truth, set in the seemingly ordinary city of Anshan, Liaoning Province, in the year 2000. It's a story that will make you question the very fabric of justice when money and influence twist the scales. It was a balmy evening on June 29, 2000, around 8 p.m. The air in Anshan buzzed with the gentle murmur of city life as Lian Lele, a vibrant 22-year-old woman, enjoyed a delightful dinner with her close friend, Chen Dunhua, at an upscale restaurant. Lele was a vision of Northeast Chinese beauty, delicate features, porcelain skin, and a graceful stature that turned heads wherever she went. More than just her striking looks, she possessed a joyful, outgoing, and innocent spirit. Despite her youthful charm and attractiveness, she remained unattached, a fact that only intensified the pursuit of her many admirers. Their pleasant meal took an unsettling turn when Lele received an unexpected phone call. As she listened, her cheerful demeanor evaporated, replaced by a profound unease and anxiety that was hard to ignore. The caller was none other than Shang Erqi, one of her relentless suitors. But Shang Erqi was different from the rest. His father was a high-ranking official in Anshan, wielding considerable power and influence. This status had molded Shang Erqi into a notorious playboy, known for his crude jokes, harassment of women, and his audacious willingness to use his family's clout to coerce any woman who caught his eye. Lele found herself trapped, utterly helpless against such a brazen and unyielding individual. His family's power was one reason, but another lay in a past favor he had done for her. Not long ago, Shang Erqi had used his connections to extricate one of Lele's friends from trouble at the police station. Bound by this debt of gratitude, Lele found herself in a perilous dilemma when Shang Erqi summoned her to room 1303 at a hotel, promising that this meeting would be the last time he bothered her. Doubt gnawed at her. Was his promise a lie? And what severe consequences would she face if she refused him? Shang Erqi's father was a man of such immense power that even provincial officials trod carefully around him. Lele's own father, a mere section chief, stood no chance against the Shang family's formidable influence. After a tormented internal debate, Lele made a fateful decision. She decided to go to the hotel, clinging to the desperate hope that she could resolve the issue once and for all and escape his relentless harassment. She bid farewell to Chindanua, her heart heavy with unspoken fears, and hurried out of the restaurant, heading towards her grim rendezvous. Little did she know, she was stepping into a meticulously crafted trap. This journey, she would soon discover, was a one-way trip, a tragic end for a blossoming life. At 10:45 p.m. that same evening, Chindanua tried to call Lele, but her phone was off, unreachable. A prickle of unease turned into a cold dread. He frantically called other friends, quickly obtaining Shang Erqi's number. What he heard next sent shivers down his spine. Shang Erqi's voice, laced with raw panic, urgently told him that something was wrong with Lele and demanded he come immediately. In a state of utter bewilderment, Chindanua rushed to hotel room 1303 with a few friends. The scene that greeted them was a horror. Lele lay sprawled on the bed, her clothes disheveled, as if hastily removed and then put back on. Her face was a grotesque mask of terror, eyes wide open, pupils bloodshot, skin a sickly gray-green, lips a chilling purplish-black, and her body utterly still, devoid of breath. They immediately called for an ambulance and the police. The initial examination by forensic doctors confirmed their worst fears. Lele had been dead for approximately 2 hours. The cause of death remained unclear, and the 110 patrol team promptly contacted the Taidong District Detective Team in Anshan for assistance. At the scene, technicians made crucial discoveries. A piece of paper on the floor was stained with a suspicious white powder. They also collected bottles and glasses that had contained beverages near the bed. Lele's body was then transported to the hospital for an autopsy. Around 1 a.m. on June 30th, Lele's parents and brother received the devastating news. At the hospital, officials informed them that preliminary autopsy results indicated Lele had engaged in sexual activity before her death. While DNA testing was incomplete, Shang Erki was initially identified as the prime suspect. This was perplexing, as their relationship was understood to be merely platonic, with no signs of intimacy. Furthermore, bruises on Lele's body suggested she had resisted, strongly indicating a case of rape and murder. Shang Erki became the focus of the investigation. Yet, the initial interrogation of Shang Erki didn't take place at the police station. Instead, it was conducted in his father's office. It wasn't until July 1st, after multiple interrogations, that Shang Erki was finally detained. But strange occurrences began to unfold during his detention. First, his initial panic inexplicably transformed into an unsettling calm. During interrogations, he maintained his innocence, his statements carefully crafted, as if he had been coached. Second, the drinking glass found at the scene mysteriously vanished, leaving only the note and the beverage bottle. Third, authorities faced significant difficulties in gathering further concrete evidence. Meanwhile, the case file hinted at a disturbing possibility. Investigators questioned whether Lele was involved in prostitution. Forensic examination also raised suspicions that the cause of death might be related to inhaling an unknown substance. This was a shock to Lele's grieving family. By July 7th, despite being the prime suspect in a serious criminal case, Shang Erki was released on bail pending trial, a move highly unusual for severe criminal investigations. On July 13th, the patrol team released their final investigation results. They claimed Lele had ingested a large amount of sleeping pills before her death. The components of these pills matched the white powder found on the note at the scene. Crucially, Shang Erki's fingerprints were present on both the note and the beverage bottle. This was compelling evidence that he had used sedatives to incapacitate her before the assault. The conclusion was undeniable: Lele had likely been murdered. Based on these initial findings, it was clearly a case of rape and murder. However, on July 15th, a member of the patrol team discreetly informed Lele's family that the investigative capabilities of the Taidong District Public Security Bureau were insufficient to uncover the truth about Lele's death. The official advised the family to report the case to higher authorities. This blunt suggestion illuminated a chilling truth for the Lien family: the Shang family's power was immense, and local authorities seemed unwilling to challenge them. On July 19th, the Taidong County Public Security Bureau shockingly concluded that Lele had died from acute pancreatitis during sleep, leading to respiratory failure. The Lien family vehemently rejected this conclusion. They gathered all available information and consulted numerous doctors and medical professors. The unanimous expert opinion was that acute pancreatitis typically causes excruciating pain, unbearable for the patient. Even under the influence of sleeping pills, a patient would likely vomit or experience convulsions. There was no scientific basis for someone with acute pancreatitis to quietly pass away in their sleep. Furthermore, photos of Lele's pancreatic autopsy showed signs of hemorrhage, though suffocation could also cause this. Lele's mother discovered that her daughter's body had been autopsied without the family's consent. Even more alarming, some of Lele's internal organs had been removed without informing her relatives. A portion of Lele's stomach was sent to the Liaoning Provincial Patrol Department's Operations Center for toxicology testing, while the remaining part was inexplicably sent to Anshan West Steel Hospital, the very hospital where Shang Erki's mother worked. This raised serious suspicions for the Lien family regarding the integrity of the autopsy report. Despite their outrage, at that moment, the family shifted their focus from the unauthorized autopsy. Instead, they demanded that authorities appoint another independent investigation team to re-examine the body. On August 29, 2 foreign forensic experts arrived in Anshan to conduct their examination. To the family's dismay, the results remained unchanged. Both forensic experts concluded that Lele had died from acute pancreatitis. The family's fury escalated. Even if Lele had died from a medical condition, it didn't absolve Shang Erki of potential rape. But then, 2 unexpected witnesses emerged, stepping forward to defend Shang Erki. The first was Jean Ding, Shang Erki's close friend, who claimed that Lele and Shang Erki were lovers and had engaged in sexual relations multiple times before. The second witness was Chandanua, Lele's longtime friend, who also testified that Lele and Shang Erki had been in a long-term, intimate relationship. Based on these testimonies, authorities concluded there was no basis to suspect Shang Erki of rape. Simultaneously, they declared Lele's death a result of illness and prepared to close the case. The authorities even urged the family to quickly cremate Lele's body to expedite the closure of the matter. Lele's mother knew that her family was no match for the colossal power of the Shang family, those who were like kings in Anshan. Yet, they refused to abandon their hope for justice. Instead of complying with the cremation demand, the family purchased a large mortuary cold storage unit to preserve Lele's body intact. They then continued to file complaints with the Liaoning Provincial Patrol Department to initiate prosecution. In February 2001, the Anshan Patrol Department received a request from higher authorities to transfer the Shang Erki case documents. However, Shang Erki's father's intervention ensured that the patrol department's investigation results perfectly aligned with the Taidong District Public Security Bureau's initial conclusion. Simultaneously, a department leader proactively approached the Lien family, trying to persuade them not to complicate the case further. The Shang family even offered a compensation of 60,000 yuan. But the Lien family resolutely refused, demanding only a clear investigation of the truth and that the perpetrator be brought to justice. Meanwhile, Shang Erki publicly celebrated his lavish wedding, attended by many high-ranking Anshan officials. This was a clear message from the Shang family to the Liens: we are not afraid of your lawsuits. If you have the guts, keep trying. By June 2001, due to the Lien family's persistent efforts to prosecute, the case was transferred to the Anshan City Procuratorate. To definitively determine the cause of Lele's death, the chief procurator decided to send tissue samples to the Ministry of Justice Identification Center for examination. The Shanghai Center, a reputable international organization, promised to be immune to any interference from the Shang family. To ensure the integrity of the samples, Lele's mother personally traveled to Shanghai 3 times, each time carefully preserving the samples in a specialized container. On September 18, 2001, the Ministry of Justice Identification Center delivered a groundbreaking conclusion: Lele did not die from sudden acute pancreatitis. Based on this finding, the case was reopened. However, the Shang family's influence remained immense. The relevant authorities argued that this conclusion only proved Lele didn't die from acute pancreatitis, but it didn't confirm murder. Unless the Lien family could pinpoint the exact cause of death, they couldn't label it a murder case, and certainly couldn't arrest Shang Erki. With no other options, the Lien family decided to pursue a 4th forensic examination. This time, they turned to the Supreme People's Procuratorate, where forensic technicians analyzed the relevant tissue samples. The result was shocking. The Supreme People's Procuratorate concluded that Lele's death was indeed due to acute pancreatitis. The Lien family suspected that the technicians had been bribed by the Shang family. Lele's mother refused to give up. Once again, she embarked on a journey, this time to the capital, to file a direct complaint with high-ranking government officials. After more than a year of relentless effort, finally, on March 5, 2003, relevant authorities invited 7 top forensic experts to conduct a 5th autopsy in Shenyang. The results were unequivocal: Lei could not have died from acute pancreatitis, and the possibility of death by mechanical asphyxiation could not be ruled out. Based on this pivotal finding, in July 2003, the Anshan City Patrol Office established a special investigation team. Shang Erqi was arrested for the second time, and his file was forwarded to the Taidong District Procuratorate for approval of an arrest warrant on murder charges. However, the Shang family once again demonstrated their power, causing the Taidong District Procuratorate to reject the request, citing that the fifth forensic examination results were merely speculative and insufficient to prove Shang Erqi was the murderer. Shang Erqi was released once more. Faced with this deadlock, the Lien family, in despair, made a daring decision. In early 2004, Lei's mother brought a stack of documents to the capital, determined to attract the attention of high-level leaders. Fortunately, her efforts were finally rewarded. Under the direct guidance of a high-ranking leader, on October 12, 2004, the Anshan City Patrol Office once again formed an investigation team. Shang Erqi was arrested for the third time and detained in Banqiao. This time, the situation was far more serious. Not only Shang Erqi's father, the uncrowned king of Anshan, but even high-ranking officials in Liaoning province were unable to intervene. Concurrently, the investigation team tracked down two crucial witnesses. One was Chen Danhua, who had vanished for years in Hainan. Chen Danhua confessed that there had been no romantic relationship between Lei and Shang Erqi. His previous testimonies were given under duress and threats from the Shang family. And Shang Erqi's close friend, Jin Ding, proved to be shrewd. He realized that the Shang family could no longer protect Shang Erqi, so he proactively came forward and revealed everything he knew. While he wasn't certain if Shang Erqi had directly killed Lei, he could unequivocally confirm that Shang Erqi had raped her. Because the incident occurred at night, Shang Erqi had previously asked him how to overpower Lei. He had advised Shang Erqi to give Lei sleeping pills, proving that Shang Erqi had premeditated and conspired to rape her. Furthermore, the bodily fluids found in Lei's body confirmed they belonged to Shang Erqi. Based on this overwhelming evidence, the special investigation team interrogated Shang Erqi through the night, without any external interference. Finally, Shang Erqi admitted the full truth, hoping for leniency from the law. It turned out that at 8 p.m. that fateful evening, Shang Erqi had meticulously prepared everything. He then called Lei and lured her into the hotel room. Lei, unsuspecting, drank the beverage Shang Erqi had prepared. An hour later, the drug took effect, leaving her exhausted and unable to resist. Shang Erqi then carried Lei onto the bed. However, even in her semi-conscious state, Lei struggled and cried for help. Fearing her cries would alert others in nearby rooms, Shang Erqi quickly grabbed a pillow and pressed it firmly over Lei's face, continuing his heinous act. To his shock, when he removed the pillow, Lei was no longer breathing. In September 2005, the Forensic Identification Center of a university in Shenyang, Liaoning province, conducted the sixth forensic examination to determine the cause of Lei's death. Examination of her lungs confirmed that Lei had died from asphyxiation, officially declaring it a murder. It is truly astounding that such a seemingly simple conclusion took 5 years and 6 examinations to reach. The protracted delay was entirely due to the Shang family's immense power. They had used their wealth and influence to distort the truth, twisting black into white, to the point where no agency or organization dared to intervene. Had it not been for the direct investigation order from a high-ranking leader, this case would likely have remained hidden and forgotten forever. Fortunately, with the sixth examination, the investigation team finally gathered enough clear evidence, and the 5-year-long wrongful case was at last brought to light. However, on May 15, 2006, after 9 months of trial, the Anshan Intermediate People's Court ruled that Shang Erqi had accidentally killed Lei, rather than intentionally murdered her. The court of first instance sentenced Shang Erqi to life imprisonment for rape and lifelong deprivation of political rights. The Lian family, deeply dissatisfied with this verdict, filed an appeal. On March 20, 2007, the Liaoning Provincial High People's Court rejected the appeal and upheld the original sentence. Then, in 2009, Shang Erqi's sentence was shockingly reduced to 18 years and 6 months in prison, thanks to the continued influence of his powerful father. Throughout his incarceration, Shang Erqi received multiple amnesties. According to the timeline, he was set to be released on June 21, 2024, after serving his term. As for accountability for those involved, regrettably, only those who signed the initial erroneous forensic reports were sentenced to 3 years in prison for obstructing justice. Other individuals involved in the case received only reprimands and warnings. Through this case, we witnessed the terrifying extent to which money and power can control people, regardless of how cruel and inhumane the actions may be. This case also serves as a crucial lesson in parenting. Parents who indulge their children's wrongdoings will inevitably face severe consequences. And the final, enduring message is this: though evil may escape for a time, it will ultimately face its reckoning.